Okay, we have Wes Ketchum, hero of the Munich Miracle, in to his first Super 7. Wes, are you feeling good? Did you go buy a lottery ticket? How's life this past few days?
Not bad. Yeah, feeling good. That feels good. Glad to make it into the Super 7. So,
all right. So, let's be honest. You're not very much of a household name, even in your own household. You're a quiet, calm, deliberate man. And this is, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest game you've ever been involved in. No pressure.
That's, I've been in a few Chicago club Weasel Royales. So those are pretty big too, But
yeah. I know those are competitive.
Yeah.
But we're talking next level. How are you approaching it? Are you doing push-ups? Any pull-ups? Are you on a routine? What are you doing in preparation? Not that much. Other than listening to a bunch of previous DBN YouTube broadcasts on endless repeat over the last week, just to get my head subconsciously in the game, I guess. But okay, so first of all, when you were down to 2, were you thinking this interview was going to even happen?
No, obviously I wasn't thinking going down to 2 that I was, my chances of wasn't thinking about topping the board or being here. What I was thinking about was trying to get back to 3. So then when I was at 3, I was thinking about getting back to 4. And then at 4, I was thinking, then at 4, I started counting. So then at 4 and at 5, I was pretty confident actually that I could pull it off. But
okay, so I've played with you. I know we've played lots of times together, but I was amazed to look it up that you have 77 games of diplomacy recorded on the DBNI database.
Oh wow!
But I don't think a lot of viewers are very familiar with your play style. How would you describe it?
That's a good question. I don't know that I'm the best person to ask. How would you describe it?
You are the calm, the port of calm in the storm. I think let's be honest, you're a scientist or a nuclear physicist or something really good, really smart, and you approach the game of diplomacy in a very logical fashion, and you try to be helpful and logical to your partners. That's how I sort of look at it. You look for win-wins.
I do. I'm glad that makes me feel good about my play style. I like to think that I play like that, but I'm never quite sure if I come off as too aggressive at times or too willing to take the stab at times. I think the other thing that I don't. I like working with people. I like finding a win-win, but I really enjoy most games, going for the top. So I'm not a huge fan of sort of tournaments where you're doing a lot of negotiating of okay, well, if I get second place here or third place here, that puts me in good position. And so if I make a friend here or do that, I like playing each game as a game in and of itself, and putting myself in the best position to top that board, which is not always, I think, to my benefit. But,
well, I think
that's the way I like to play. So
I think I've killed you over that, right?
Yeah,
you don't like the metagaming.
I think I've been killed by many people over that. So, but okay, I'll take it. It's the way I like to play. So,
we all have to, before we can fly, we have to learn how to walk. And one of the things is that you're really hard to kill. You have a very low elimination rate, and you look like Steven Seagal in his famous movie, Hard to Kill. And look, not only did you not get killed in the game before that you won, I think that sort of determined attitude is important on a top board. I know our Chicago Weasel Royales notwithstanding, that's an important factor because there's going to be a lot of setbacks.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I think I definitely take an attitude of, I'm in it until I'm completely out. So until I'm out, I want to be part of the game. I want to be involved, and I want to be in it for myself. So it's something that, and I was sort of re-inspired by that. I mentioned I was sort of listening to previous DBN games and such too. I think not last year, but the year before, I think Peter ended up winning, but I think Peter was in Austria and Saren in Turkey. And I think Saren went down to 2 in that game and also came back really strong and had a really good chance at the top. And just kind of seeing these people sort of handle and deal with, being put on the back foot in a position, but then knowing it's a long game and figuring out how to stay alive, but then also give themselves growth and put themselves back in. I mean, I like it. That's exciting. It's also, it's easy to play with your back against the wall. There's just one thing you got to do. Just keep going. So there's not so many decisions you need to make.
Okay. Who is smarter, you or Noam Brown's Chat GPT artificial intelligence?
No, for sure, Noam Brown's the AI.
Who's smarter between you and Noam Brown? Will you be? You guys are both so smart. Will you be able to talk to each other, or will you just sort of use telepathy?
I've played with Noam a few times. I've enjoyed playing with Noam. He's I think I don't know. I get the sense that he's still somehow Noam is still a wildly underrated player. I don't understand it, but
world champion.
I know,
Super
right?
Sevens.
But somehow he still seems to sort of sneak under the radar. He doesn't, people think, oh yeah, and there's that Noam Brown guy. He's been in multiple Super Sevens now, is now a world champion, but doesn't seem like he's the first name on people's lips when they talk about the top diplomacy players. But
Wes, this is not. I'm not giving anything away. Noam's picking first. Usually the first pick is France, or there's a drop down. It wouldn't be unusual to think, given where you're picking, that the two of you might be in the same theater, maybe in the West. Have you thought about that, or have you thought about dropping somewhere else in the East?
Oh.
Not that you're scared of Noam, but have you given any thought to the Paris method?
Oh, I'm dropping to last.
Why not?
I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, let's just. I don't care. I don't care what country. Let's go. Let's. They can.
Are you serious about that, or are you just joking with me?
No, I'm dead serious. It's not 100% until it happens, but that's where my head's at right now. That's what I think I'm going to do. Why not?
So, David Hood usually does on these Super Sevens, goes through each player and does their superpower and their kryptonite. So I'm sure you're critical thinker. What is your diplomacy superpower, and what is your diplomacy kryptonite?
It's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think this is I'm more curious to hear what other people think rather than myself. I do like to think that I can stay calm under pressure, and that I can, not only just in bad situations to sort of be resilient and bounce back in, but even, try to be the person that's sorting to ease and calm sort of the tensions on the board in order to try to get things done. I don't think I get sort of on tilt too easily. I think I can kind of take things as they go. So I like to think that that's my superpower. As kryptonite,
I'm going to go with your apparent obliviousness as your kryptonite.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you've got the hope.
Or get in the way of things, but
Hope is the biggest enemy in diplomacy. When you hope, you know you got it wrong.
you need a reality check. Yeah.
What is there anyone on this board that you fear?
Fear is a strong word.
Fear is a strong word. I hope the answer is no.
I mean, it's just a game, so it's not really.
How about this? Let's do it this way. If you can't win, and just on the odds, it's 1 in 7. If you are the person that can win, who do you think will win?
I think Taye is Nicolas Taye is a super strong player. I think, I think, and I was looking up just to remind myself of games that I've played. I think I've maybe played like 10 games, or on the order of 5 to 10 games with Nicolas Taye. I don't think I've ever done better than him on a board. Not like him topping and I not. I mean, even when he doesn't top, I think he still does better than me. Nicolas is a great player, but yeah, I mean, he's really a great player. So I think he's probably my favorite, my expectation to win.
Okay. Well, I know at one point in real life, if not now, you worked on the world's most important project, the Super Collider. But this is the hobby's most important project, the Super Collision, the Super 7 that's going to happen. And everyone, Wes, wants you to do well. You're the people's choice. You can't beat the Soviet Union on the Miracle on Ice in the semis and not beat Finland in the finals. You got to go forward. You got to make it. Best of luck.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, we're here with Max Wanji Rowe Banks, who's on mute for no reason. But in any event, we're going to welcome you to the DBNI. This might be your best strategy, to the DBNI Super 7 for the second time. How do you feel, Max?
I'm feeling incredible, Ed. It's a great privilege to make it the second time, especially after my god-awful performance my first round. I didn't think I would get through playing as Turkey on a top board, especially, again, after my first terrible performance as Turkey as well. But I'm really excited to be on this board. And I'm really, it should be awesome.
Okay, so I learned by watching your interview last year, I think with David Hood, that you have 4 names because, you have First Nations ancestry. But in this game, you have second to last nation's pick. You were going to be the last nation picked. Then we got a new substitute, a British person who lives in Australia that you're used to playing with, Robert Hillier. He's out. And now we got little old Micah, who can't do anything, picking in these. How do you feel about all this?
Well, I think I was talking to another player on the board, Brandon, about it, and I thought, well, at least I don't have to do any strategy if I'm last, or have to think about it at all, because the choices will be made for me and the die will be cast. But now, because Micah is playing and Rob is out, I now have to think about likely the options between Germany, Turkey, or Austria here, which I think it'll be fine. I pulled through with Turkey this time. I can probably do it again.
All right. So, last year, as you've already sort of alluded to, you were just kind of happy to be there. Hey, I got knocked out first, my first Super 7 too. I'm wondering, what's the mental attitude, right? This is a confidence game. This is a mental game. What's your mental attitude like?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think knowing that, playing the game for another year, I think has given me a certain level more comfort and confidence with my own abilities. And also, I have to just remind myself, it is just a game. It is just for fun, despite the rage, the emotions, the anger, the sense of betrayal, and the feelings of bloodlust that emerge when you play this game. It's still just meant to be fun. And when I have that in my mind, I get a bit calmer.
I tell you what, since I'm a lawyer, there's a legal case here in America that says hurt feelings, anger, and frustration are part of life, and you can't get money because of it. Nor in diplomacy, it's kind of the same thing. Look, do you think you're underestimated a little bit? You don't play a lot virtually. You play a lot. Obviously, there in Australia. I mean, you've had a lot of virtual games, but not compared to, say, Micah, McAllis, some of the other people. Do you think you're underestimated?
Do I think I'm underestimated? That seems like one of them trick questions where you like ask someone if you're trying to pick up someone, when you say like, "Is it a burden being that beautiful?" Do you think you're underestimated? I think people getting along with me is underestimated, I think, and also undervalued. I think coming from my previous game where I played Italy, I think when Katie stabbed me with Hilia, I think the comment we made afterwards was the worst part of the game was not being able to talk to each other. And I really pride myself on my conversational skills, and I think my ability to get along with people is underestimated.
Okay, look, man, you won APAC. This is your second Super 7. You've only been playing a couple of years. I think I wouldn't underestimate you. But I want to know the confidence level. I mean, is the confidence level high? And what's the play style going to be like? You got a tricky situation. Maybe Mike and McAllis are in the East together. They've worked a lot on top boards. What is your attitude going in, and are you worried about things happening on this board?
I would say my attitude coming into this board, I mean, obviously there is history between a lot of these players. I don't play that virtual scene as much as other people, and that engagement with other players is an advantage to them. But I think it's also that level of familiarity means that they probably know when they want to hit each other, or they know when the other person is lying to each other. And I think that level, that angle there, I think gives me a degree of confidence, and I'm feeling good about that. I think the game will either go. I will definitely play every year as it comes, and every year I'm still in the game is a good sign, and I think that is a good KPI to keep in mind when I'm playing this game. And I think I will play this patiently, or if I'm willing to find a partner that will play high tempo and high aggression with me, I'll be like a pig in mud. I'll love that. I will be so happy. I like playing aggressive if I can get it. But I think we should
be on this board. We should be on this board.
Well, I've done my part, Ed.
Okay, look. This is a serious question here. They're all serious, but this is the most serious. David Hood sometimes in these DBNIs does people's superpower and their kryptonite. And for example, he said my superpower, which is probably right, is my personality, just my go along to get along style. But he said my kryptonite is that I don't handle setbacks very well. And there are a lot of setbacks for me on a top board. And so I'm wondering, if you had to evaluate yourself honestly, what do you think your superpower is, and what do you think your kryptonite is?
I think I am pretty good at making first impressions and building alliances. I think that is a really strong point, but also almost counterintuitively, I think if I can't manage to find a friend, I think I can struggle. And I think similarly, if I get setbacks over and over again, and if I keep getting lied to or something, it's hard for me to try and work past that, especially considering this game, I feel like everyone assumes that we start with the same level of trust that gets built, and then it gets broken. And I think I struggle once trust is broken to rebuild that, because I do play this game very much based on relationships. And I think that once you break it, it takes a lot longer to build that back. And I think it's probably a lot longer than the game goes on. And because of that, I think once people stab me, it's really hard for me to work with them again. And I think in this game, where it's probably going to be balance of power and probably slower, I think if I struggle to find a mate that will play the game how I like it, it might be disastrous for me, honestly.
Do you fear anybody on this board?
Nah. I'll be all right.
Good answer. Good answer. All right. If it can't be you, if you can't win, who do you think will win?
Well, in the unlikely situation where I can't win, I think the person who will win this, if we don't kill him, will be Wes. We saw that on the broadcast already. He can come back from
Don't
two.
argue against that.
We do not kill him. He will come back like a bad smell. He's. I was about to compare him to a Conrad, but I feel like that is an insult. But he will survive and thrive and come back. But I think if it's not me, I don't want to say this and bring it as well. It'll probably be McCarlis, or people will get lulled into a false sense of security, and Brandon will manage to just breeze his way into a win here.
He'll vibe his
Nicholas will
way.
just kill us all. Yeah.
All right. We're going to not call you Max anymore. We're going to call you Super Max, since this is your second Super 7. Super Max, best of luck to you in your game. I'll be there in the sideline, and I hope you have a good time. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Ed.
All right. We've got the coolest kid in diplomacy, Brandon from somewhere in Australia. Are you a Canberra or a Melbourne person?
I am Canberra, not Melbourne.
All right.
How you going, Ed?
We don't like Melbourne. Fuck Melbourne.
That's
all right.
it.
Answer the first most important question. What is this circular object behind you? Is this a mirror that you have to do your hair in before you get on camera? What is that?
Yeah, that's just a mirror, Ed. It's just chilling there.
It's just chilling.
Yeah.
Okay, look. I think you're a big fraud. I'm going to just say that and say you pretend not to care. You pretend it's just chilling. Nothing matters. But let's look at the results. You were in the broadcaster brawl, even though, as best I can tell, you know nothing about diplomacy. 2, you were on the EDC top board. Impressive accomplishment that not even I could achieve. And now you're in the DBNI Super 7. So for someone who pretends not to care, that's just chilling, doesn't know anything about diplomacy, explain yourself. Admit you're a fraud.
I'm just here to have a bit of fun, and I don't know. When I'm having fun, just vibes and things work out. So it's cool.
Okay, look. The broadcaster brawl was fun and vibes, and you won. The most bizarre game I've ever witnessed was the DBNI semifinal second chance game. People weren't taking chances except for you. Finally, can you explain that game to our viewers? Can you explain what did you why did you even start trying? Nobody else was.
Nah, so I was trying with that game from the get-go. I wanted to give it a shot. I absolutely hated my first game. I'm sure there's a lot of opinions circling around with that game, but I don't know. I like playing a game that stalls out. I like playing a game where people aren't getting anywhere. I like playing a game like that because people get frustrated, and then hopefully.
You think I like that game? You think that's my game?
So I don't know. Just so I think had Goffey and Claire in the East as AT, and then Patrick was Italy. I feel really bad for Patrick that game. He was just gunning to explode out of the gate, and no one was giving him anything to do. He even went west as Italy to begin with and pulled back, and Darcy. You
vibed your way to the end.
Yeah, that's it, pretty much. Yeah, just okay. I think overall, people were talking about the game being long and we can do stuff later. And even though my jab was I don't think it was a very good jab to begin with. The mentality was that the game was long and we could deal with stuff later, so people didn't react to it. So I was like, oh, cool, I can just do another one of those and people won't react. And I think there was a point where Goffey sort of freaked and he made a pitch. Well, I knew he'd want to make a pitch, and I just I didn't talk to him all spring after I made the first jab because I knew he'd want to pitch. So I then went to him in fall and made sure he couldn't do anything fancy and just kept pushing. So that was it. I don't know. It wasn't that complicated. Just sat around, waited for a moment that I felt was right, and went for it. So
wasn't complicated beating a multiple world champion. It wasn't complicated at all. Just vibed your way. Hey, look, people have a right to know. I got to know you a little bit in Amsterdam. Unlike the typical person who is attracted to this game of diplomacy, you work with your hands. That's what you do every day. What's your job? Tell the people.
Like I'm not sure what you call it in America or the rest of the world, but I'm a tradie. So I'm just carpentry, hands-on stuff, building. I did my builder's license a few years ago. I just run a little business. It's just me and a few contractors. So just hands-on stuff.
What is it about diplomacy? And I don't know if you saw Brandon Fogel cover your game. He was like, there's a heart of a lion in there pretending to be a little pussycat.
I'm all right being the little pussycat. That's totally fine. Always happy to be the little spoon sometimes as well. So, but
I know you care. I saw you after EDC on the top board. You were very disappointed in yourself, which I think is the number one path to growth in diplomacy.
Yeah, no. Biggest enemy is definitely myself. Like EDC threw me. I played horribly on that board. I was just surprised because I got this little feeling of wanting to do good, and I still try and do good, but the drive isn't always there. But that hit me hard in EDC, and that made me reevaluate. And I got to know some people that take the game very seriously, and I had a look at myself, and I was like, I think I still take it seriously. I'm not just messing around, but I'd like to do that too. So,
All right. Do we expect that you're going to drop down in the Paris method?
I don't know. I've got no
you put
game
no
plan.
thinking into this. You've got no game plan.
99% of my plan is to not have a plan. Just see where everyone lies. Everyone else will have a plan. People will be disappointed when what they expect doesn't turn out, and and I'll just be there to see where everyone is on the board and then go from there. I don't see any country as different to any other. I'll just play whatever I get.
What about people? You do have people skills, although I did say in our game, if you remember, I'm like, I don't know how to talk to Brandon. I don't know what he wants. I don't know if he wants me to be friends. I don't know, and you're like, either way is fine. Is that how you intend to approach it? Get stabbed, not get stabbed, everything's chill. I mean, but are there players that you think you can work with on this board? I know you haven't played with all of them. You've been on a top board with McAllis, and I know you know the rest, but Max.
So I don't remember everyone that's on the board. So I can answer Max. Like, me and Max are great mates, but we've never really worked together in a game. So we work well together for a little bit sometimes. So I think that might be an interesting dynamic to see it play out. I know Max likes to win. I enjoy winning, but we'll see how that goes. Micah coming onto the board as well is interesting. I don't think I've really ever had a game with Micah, so that'll be new. But obviously mates with her as well. I'm trying to remember who else is on the board.
Well, you have a nuclear physicist with Wes Ketchum, like legitimately one of the most intelligent people in the world, and yet Noam Brown, it doesn't just work in AI. Like, this guy is like building ChatGPT. Okay, you have really, really bright people who are American like they want it now. They want it done their way. How do you handle, like, let's be honest, people that have totally different life experiences and approaches to this game that you don't?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe a huge thing I've learned in my life is that no matter how hard you try, you're not always going to get what you want, and sometimes you get dealt a bad hand, and I'm fine with that. So,
Oh my God.
like,
you're spewing wisdom that I need to hear.
okay, so,
I like to get everything I want. I want everything why can't I have everything I want?
No, or like, sometimes the dice just don't roll that way. So it doesn't mean you're not trying. It doesn't mean you don't care. You can try, you can work hard, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And I think I put a lot of effort into what I would like to get. And if it doesn't work out, yes, I can be disappointed, but that doesn't have to wreck everything. So you just, I think there's a lot of players on this board that care about the outcome, that really want it and place a lot of importance on it. And I no shade on them at all. I think they're all excellent players. And yeah, I don't know. I think part of me just chilling is like, yeah, I'd love to win DBNI. That would be cool. And like that'd be awesome. But I'll give it my best shot. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. There's always next year. So
what's your diplomacy kryptonite? What's your weakness?
My blood sugar level. So I gotta keep eating. I gotta keep snacking. If Brandon doesn't eat, Brandon changes. So that's not a good thing.
Okay, other people on the board that you apparently don't know anything about are Nicolas Taillet. You should know about him because he won our game, the first game.
Yeah.
And we've got McAllis. So now you've covered everybody. Is there anyone on this board that you fear?
Yeah, all of them. They're all really good players. So, yeah, I'm gonna think of them like I think of them all very similarly. They all have strengths. They all have weaknesses. I think when the board draw finally happens, we have our countries, we have our spots. Then the way I'm thinking about each player will change a little bit. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Like I might be really worried about one player in a certain setting, and then in another setting, I'm less worried about them. So, and yeah, I think that can go a lot of different ways.
Okay. Every year I designate someone as the people's choice. You, Brandon Austin, are the people's choice. Don't let the people down, but play your game. Don't play the game that, play your game.
That's it.
And a little bit of my game, but mostly your game.
All right. I'll try a little bit of Ed's game as well, but like I'm here just to do my thing. I'm not going to change it up. I tried changing it up in our game together in DBNI, and that just I trusted the wrong people for that scenario, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this. So just going into round 2, I was like, I'm just going to do things I'm comfortable with, and I'm going to go from there. Because I think round 1 DBNI and top board EDC were 2 games I did things I wasn't comfortable with, and I completely messed them up. So yeah, I'm just gonna do my thing.
Okay, you got to be you, Brandon Austin. Good luck. People's choice.
Okay, thanks, Ed. I'm happy just being your choice, Ed. I don't have to be the people's choice. So.
I didn't quite say that. All right. Okay. Good luck.
All right. Thanks, Ed. Catch you.
We have the international man of mystery, Nicolas Taillet from France. I thought I killed him 2 years ago. I mean, I thought he was dead and wasn't ever coming back to play diplomacy. And yet, Nicolas, on the down low, you came back this year. Why'd you get back involved in diplomacy?
Actually, I left because I had no time between the job and I had a second child, so it was a bit complicated in terms of scheduling everything. And last year, 2025, we managed our organization a bit better, and I had Robert and Yelte actually inviting me for a 7-year Wars game in January, something like that. And then I managed to have a few more 7-year Wars game. It's much easier for me to play 7 years war because it's shorter. So it starts at your friendly time at like 7 in the evening, and then you have only 4 hours to play. So it's much more manageable than the VDL games I used to handle in the morning. And I also played, I think, one Snake Pit game very early in the morning to help Josh out. So yeah, that's how I came back.
So you've done that, and I've seen you on Nexus also.
Yeah.
But do you find it funny that not many people know you, and maybe even people like me are talking about how great you are, and that might not be helping you?
I'm accustomed to it. I saw the poll that 22% of the people voting thought I could win this game. I was like, so I'm at the same level of Mikulis, whereas I never won anything, and he's the reigning DBNI champ. So yeah, I'm accustomed to that.
Okay. Do you care about winning the DBNI? Is this important to you?
Well, I care about winning every game. I play to have fun, and I think if everybody plays to win, that's how you have the most fun. Because else, if somebody starts to play just to throw a game to a friend, then it's not fun for the 5 other players. So I try to play to have fun and to respect every player, and to make sure that I try to win, and that I'm not going to make it too personal to prevent other people from winning. That's how I play.
So if anyone asked me what they thought, like how would I describe your style, I would say in general, you're a very tough negotiator, but most of the time you do what you say. I mean, I'm sure we all have these problems in diplomacy, me way more than you, but I think that's how you approach a game. You try to negotiate win-wins if you can, but you seem to do what you say for the most part.
Yes, I very rarely lie, because I'm not a good liar. I think you pointed this out in one broadcast one time, that I'm not a great liar. And it's a fact. I don't like lying in real life, and diplomacy, you have to lie sometimes, but I try to do it as little as I can. I also try to make deals that are profitable for all parties. So I'm a tough negotiator. Just if you're going to propose to me something which is outrageous, which is kind of dumb for me, I'm not going to accept that, right? So in that sense, I'm tough, but I think I have, compared to other players, I make deals, and even deals that are not on paper as profitable in the first time, and then I try to turn them so that they are more profitable with the actions maybe of other players that I know of. So that's more the way I play.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that I remember, I think your Virtual Diplomacy League win may have been the best game I can recall. At the time, I thought it was the best game I've ever seen. I don't know if I've seen a better one since then. But you've had some great games. I mean, you had that match with Saren that one time, where you guys were fighting for seemingly hours. It was obviously not your day that day. But that horrible, if I'm remembering it correctly, Super 7 before, with maybe it was Brandon, Katie, and you all in the West, seemingly fighting the whole time. So, I mean, you're used to these long games in which emotions go up and down.
Yeah, I try to be less emotional, actually. I think that's something I've managed to do this year, and in our game, also in the semis. I've been stabbed, by you, by Jason, by Patrick, by Brendan. I don't think I got pissed once, I think, and that was important to me. Like, I try to be very much more detached than I used to be. And also, like this game you mentioned with Brendan and Katie, that was a failure on my part on my first DBNI. Like that, I was not the only one to blame, but I think with Brendan I was a bit too paranoid, and I try not to do that anymore. But yeah.
So you've got a series of players on here. I know you've played with Brandon because we're all in the same game together, but who are you, I guess, most looking forward to playing with?
So I've never played with Gnome. I've never played with Max. So I'm very happy to meet them for the first time. That's for sure. Gnome, especially, I think we have a similar way to approach the game, to some extent, from what I've seen from him. I love playing with Wes. I'm not sure he loves it as much as I love it. But I really like Wes. Actually, I wrote an article a few years back when I qualified instead of him for the first DBNI, and I thought he's a great player, and I'm super happy that he makes it to this Super 7. And of course, Michaelis, we have I'd say it's always complicated when we're on a board together. I don't think we trust each other fully, and but it's always an interesting relationship to manage. I'm going to say it politically correct.
So, I mean, look, you just on the Paris method. Do you think you might drop down right now as you're thinking about it, or do you think you want to play in the West or the East? Do you have an idea? Where you see is Russia again, where you always seem to do well?
Russia is one of my favorite countries to play, so I wouldn't mind that, I think. But you can't always play the same country, so I'm hesitating a bit. My strategy is not set yet. I think it's either I stay where I am or I go back 2 spots, I think, to see what Wes and Brennan, I think, are doing. And as far as East versus West, for me, it's more a question of countries and at the time of the selection, which country I feel the most. Anyway, it's not a secret. It's going to be between 4 countries. It's going to be between France, Russia, Germany, and Italy.
Not England.
No, not England. No.
Okay.
I don't like. I like playing a standard game as England because I like playing every country once in a while. But I'm a balance of power player, and it's so much harder to play balance of power when you're in a corner, I feel like. So that's why I would prefer most likely to be Germany or Italy or Russia.
What is your diplomacy weakness? What do other players need to know that you do poorly at? I'm asking everybody this, not just you.
No, I'm searching for what I could do better, and for sure everybody can do stuff better. But I think even though I try to let things go, I think when the emotions go up high, you can always deal with them better. I think that's one thing I would like to be able to be completely hermetic to. I think, and the other part is I think I'm a very defensive player, and sometimes I think I should not hesitate to explode a bit more tactically to try to take some more risk, because as you've seen, I'm still very slow and steady wins the race, right?
Ask me how that goes. I'm more like I go up and slow down. So maybe we could trade.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I've asked this question of everybody. Do you fear anybody on the board?
I don't fear anybody. It's I think there are relationships that may be easier to have than others. I think, for example, as mentioned, my relationship with Michaelis is not the best. I think we don't have anything against each other, but I think we don't see the game the same way. And when he mentions an early throw, I tend to be very hermetic to that. I think I'm very.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that as much as he used to.
Yeah, no, but I don't. I'm not saying he does it always, but I think it's the way we see the game that is very different to some extent. He plays really this thing about his reputation and the repeated part of the game. And whereas I play game after game, so I don't care about my reputation one game after another. I just want to have fun and try to win.
All right, I think it's a good place to end it, Nicolas. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you. Everyone's going to be watching. I'll see you on the sidelines. No speaking in French. Everything's got to be in English so I can hear you.
I don't have another French player on the board. So.
Yeah. Have a good one. Noam Brown, world champion, multiple Super 7, returning player, dominant performance. When the air broke up, England won. Congratulations, Noam. I'm making another Super 7.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun. So far, at least.
Okay. Do you love being underestimated? You've won a world championship, and yet people are talking about McAllis or Nicola, and they're like, oh, maybe we should be talking about Noam.
I did see the DBN poll, and I was like, I was a little hurt, but, it's okay. It's probably for the best that, I come in, with, like, not a target on my back, or at least not a huge target on my back. I think McAllis has a bigger one. So, hopefully that pays off for me.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because as they say, I'm frequently wrong, but never in doubt. I know that you're a world champion, but that was like a 21-player, multiple top board thing that I had never seen before. I don't think like on a top board for a title, I've seen you play and win. Am I right about that?
Honestly, the WDC was the only tournament that I ever won. So
if you had to pick one,
yeah, I had to pick one. Yeah, that's the one to pick. But I do think it's a good point that the WDC last year was not a top board format. And personally, like, I think that makes total sense. I think a big part of diplomacy is being able to adapt to any player that you're up against. And I think that not having the top board format, like, it incentivized that more. Top board is kind of weird in my opinion. I don't really like top boards. But yeah, I mean, I think it was like, kind of reassuring to see like, okay, I come in the DBNI, playing a top board format with like super strong players. And yeah, I'm able to top the board and make it to the Super 7. And I think it would be nice to, be able to show that I can win a championship on a top board format as well.
I want to know what you're thinking about where you're playing. I know we played on the top board near Russia. I ruined your game. I lied to you relentlessly, and then I ruined my own game. You ruined mine after I ruined yours.
That was a fun game.
Common refrain. Uh-huh. You and Riaz and Peter won top board near England.
I have a lot of regrets about the 2023 game that I played. I think I was less mature diplomacy player back then, and I think I know what I'm doing a little bit more now.
All right. So you have the top pick if you want it. Are you going to drop down? Obviously you're just guessing right now. Well, you may know, but I'm not holding you to it. It's not a contract.
No, it's a good question. I've thought about this. I'm probably going to go first. A couple of reasons for this. I do think in an extremely long game, the country that you get does play a pretty significant part, and I want to probably have a corner power, either England, France, or Italy, maybe Turkey, though that doesn't seem likely.
Italy's not a corner power.
Well, yeah, but Italy's like secure. I want a country that like is going to be secure in the early game, and I feel like I feel like those countries like. I wouldn't want to be like Russia, for example, because like I feel like Russia. I want a country that's like secure in the early game and then also like somewhat like pretty secure in the late game. And I feel like especially those countries like have that security. Russia, for example, it's like really easy to fall apart in the end game. Germany, it's like really easy to just like have everybody swoop in and like eat you up from all sides. I think you get some security in like England, France, Italy that you probably would not get in some of the other powers. And I'm probably going to pick first because I want to be next to people that want to be next to me. So I figure if I go first, the other people that choose powers next to me are like people that intentionally chose like, okay, I'm okay with being next to this guy.
It's very dangerous because these powers methods always seem to go unexpectedly. But if you had to pick, and knowing the order in general, is there someone that you think you have a better chance of working with than someone else?
I was actually pretty happy to see the list of players in the Super 7 because like all of them, either I haven't played with them before, or they are people that I feel like I know I could work with. Like McCallus, super strong, but also I feel like I understand how he thinks. I think we view the game in similar ways, and so I feel like it'd be pretty reasonable to work with him. Same thing with Micah. Like I played a game, my previous DBNI game. I played with Micah, and she was just like very reasonable. So I feel like all the players I feel very comfortable working with. There's nobody that I'm like, oh, this is going to be a problem. If like Peter McNamara was on the board, I'd be like a little bit more concerned. But everybody there it seems like a very reasonable person I could work with.
All right, so
not to say that Peter is not reasonable, but it's just like I'm afraid of Peter. So
who is you're smart. It's the right move to be afraid of Peter. Okay, look, I've got to ask everybody their diplomacy kryptonite here. You can give us your superpower and your kryptonite in diplomacy, because David Hood might come up with that on his own. What do you think your strengths and weaknesses are? Really?
I think I'm pretty good at the tactics. I don't think I'm like a McCallus level, but I think I'm quite good at the tactics. Like kryptonite. I think especially in a top board, a lot of it comes down to kingmaker effects, right? Like you get to the end of the game, and it's up to everybody else that isn't really a contender for the top of
who's everybody's second choice if they can't win.
Yeah. And I think this is something that I probably don't excel at. Like convincing everybody else that I should be their second choice. This is something that I want to get better at. And so I'm kind of hoping that this will be my opportunity to see if I've improved on this, but we'll see.
Will you be deploying the non-public beta of ChatGPT to help you during the game?
No comment.
Who do you think had a higher math SAT score, you or Wes Ketchum, nuclear physicist on the Super Collider?
Probably Wes Ketchum, actually. Yeah. I think Wes Ketchum probably did okay.
Okay. Is there any player you fear on the board?
No. There's nobody that I fear. No. Like, I definitely think McCallus is super strong. I do think he's going to be super well positioned to win, but I wouldn't say that I fear him. I feel like I'm able to understand him.
Okay. Obviously, this is a non-binding answer I hope I get out of you, but let's just say you can't win. And irrespective of the game dynamics, which will maybe make the answer change, if you can't win, who do you think will win?
I think Micah is a safe bet. Micah's always a safe bet. I think she's really good at the diplomatic game, and I think in a top board format like this, that counts for a huge amount. McCallus is a returning champion, so I think it's going to be like a tougher battle for him to win the diplomatic game if it came down to it. But,
okay, no pressure, but no one has won WDC and DBNI in, well, I don't think ever, but particularly not the same year. So,
Is it true that like nobody has won both WDC and DBNI?
I don't think any of our prior DBNI winners have won a WDC. So,
oh wow, okay.
So two Peter, one Brandon, one McCallus. So you could be the first in both categories and do the double, and so you got something to play for here.
I got a lot to play for. I'm excited. Yeah, I want to win this.
Hey, that's the confidence I need to see, and you don't have me next to you messing with you, so that's good too. All right, thanks, Noam. Look. Best of luck in the game. I'll be on the sideline. Have fun. That's what it's about.
Looking forward to it. All right. See ya.
All right. We're here with McCallus Camarites, the best player never to have won a WDC. That's your new title.
I foresee some targeting based on that.
You are returning champion. No one's ever gone back to back on DBNIs. You have something you can outpip McNamara. Are you excited?
I am. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it's quite fun. It's basically a bunch of different people. There's a lot of people here I've not played a lot with, so that makes it quite a different challenge. A lot of the time when you play top boards, you go, oh, look, I've played like 4 top boards with you before, with about 3 other players on said top board. This time, I think, aside from Nicola Taye, there's no one I've really played a proper top board with, and Nicola, it's been a couple years.
Oh, I don't know about that. This last substitution with Micah, I've seen you play 1 to 2 top boards with Micah.
This is true, yes.
And her late entry into the game may be an issue because you have worked with Micah really well over the years. Not the only one. One of her strengths of the game is she seems to work well with everybody. But do you have any idea of what country you'd like to get in the final 3? I mean, I think you got to move up, if I'm not mistaken, a spot because of Micah's entry. Maybe there's a chance at one of the non-4 traditional powers going. Have you given this any thought at all?
I have to some degree. I think I'm now the number 5 seed, and usually that means Germany, Austria, Turkey. And the problem with me taking Germany is that I've won a fair few top boards with Germany against a fair few players who, like Micah, have seen me win those top boards. So I don't know if I really want to take Germany. I think everyone kind of knows what I want to do with Germany. It means that you're a little bit predictable, and that's not necessarily a good thing, especially on a top board this big. So I think out of Germany, Austria, Turkey, I'd probably be looking at one of the Eastern 2. Undecided which. That'll depend on what other people are playing.
Do you think anyone in the top 4 will move down?
Maybe. I mean, Germany won 3 of the semifinals, right? So the argument that Germany's a weak top board power doesn't really stack up against much evidence here. Whether anyone's going to drop down to pick after me, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be that surprised if Germany went reasonably early.
Okay. For those interested in why McAllis is doing so well, I commend you to our interview a year ago. I don't want to go through the topics that we've already been through. I would like to ask you, though, you're a very confident player. I could give you what I think your strengths and weaknesses are, but I think you're very introspective. And so why don't you, David Hood does his superpower kryptonite thing. Give us what you think your superpower is and what you think your kryptonite is in diplomacy.
My superpower, I think, has been how quickly I read a board. Like, I think I read a board quicker than almost anyone that plays this game, and it helps with commentary as well, but it helps when I'm playing. Not just I read a board and work out what needs to happen, but because I do it so quickly, I think that gives me more time to negotiate. Like, there are people I'll be talking to who, like 5-10 minutes into a phase, will suddenly only notice something that's just happened on the other side of the board, and now they're factoring that into their calculations and how they need to change what they do because of that well after I am. And so I get a head start, and I think that helps a lot in my negotiations and in my strategy, because I'm just very quick at being able to work out, right, well, this has happened there. This means that person's getting the upper hand. Do I need to counter that? And if I need to counter that, how do I counter that? So, okay, that probably means I need to leave this person alone so that they can do the countering, which means I need to focus on this person, and that's where my growth's now going to be.
I mean, honestly, it's impressive to watch you work. And it's different when you're next to you in the game. As you know, we're just in a game where you got the better of me. But like, I'm thinking as a player next to you, I'm like, he's reading the board and he needs all this to happen. Like, how truthful is he being with me? I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm just saying, like, you are calculating at a faster rate, certainly than me. But I agree, almost everybody that I can see, because a lot of players are just still working, even top players like this, on beyond their little corner of the world. They kind of look over there as a little bit, but you're always looking over there, figuring out the effects that might have, and if the dynamic needs to change.
Yeah, and it's, like I say, I think it's quite a good skill to have. It gives me, it basically, you look at the board, and depending which side of the board you're on, there's probably going to be one or two big powers on the other side of the board. And the quicker you look out which of them those powers are going to be and how you contain those powers once they become big, the easier it makes both your game and your strategy, right? Like, let's say I'm in an EG. Russia's probably not going to be the big power on the other side of the board. But Turkey can become a big power on the other side of the board. So that means you have to work out who's going to stop Turkey, because it's no good being in a straight race with Turkey, because Turkey almost always has the tiebreak over you. So if we go to the game we just played, I was looking at that game, and under normal circumstances, EG just kills Russia, because Russia, they're not going to be a really viable power. But in that game, it was a case of Bradley is quite annoyed at Turkey. Bradley can be the containment factor on Turkey, which means we don't need Italy, because Italy isn't containing Turkey. So, all right, EG full steam ahead. I'll go south. I'll go mess with Italy. I won't touch Russia. Russia is going to do the job. Russia is going to be my shield against the Turk. So that's the sort of calculation I was making there.
And he's doing it in real time. But you did escape my question of what your kryptonite is. You are introspective. So tell me what you think the hard part of this game is for you, or your weakness.
I mean, there's quite a lot of different things. Whether there's one overarching thing, like you say, I'm introspective. So when I see something that I'm not doing right, I try and fix it. But you fix one problem and another problem appears. You will never be a complete player. There will always be something that you can get better at. And it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. Like, I won last year's DBNI, and I've watched that game back to find what I did wrong in that game as well. Like, there is always something that you can improve on. And the moment you think that you're done as a player is the moment your decline starts. But in terms of patterns, I guess I sometimes struggle with, when I attack someone, not making them want me to lose. That can be a tough one that has cost me in previous top boards. So if I attack someone and I don't kill them, being able to repair that isn't always my greatest strength. So maybe that's something I need to be working on as well.
That is, yeah, well, talk to me about that. I don't know how to do that. Okay, look. There's a poll out where you have a plurality of votes suggesting that you are going to win. And Nicola Taye, you do 23%. This is actually my question. The poll says 23% of the individuals listed think that you would win. 21% Nicola Taye, Noam Brown 6%, and then they didn't even list the other four players. They just said the field. They gave them 50%. So I allotted 12.5% to each of those people. I mean, you're very much in the conversation for, you are the object in the room that everyone is frightened of. And I've seen your other top boards, and I've seen you win, and you've always had a plausible argument about someone else, right? You know, even EDC, say Tanya or other places. Here, you are in great form. People, for the most part, expect you to do well. That's a whole nother level of pressure of where, you know, I don't know if this is going to happen, where you get attacked early, where you're on the outs. Are you accounting for that? How do you play like that?
I mean, I think so. I think Micah being on the board is advantageous to that, because I might be in decent form, but I've not won anything massive since DBNI last year. Yeah, I won a recent fairly small tournament in Middlesbrough, but for most of last year, I wasn't playing that great after the win. Micah, on the other hand, has won everything for the past year. So the argument that I'm the most informed player on the board definitely holds no water if Micah's on the board. And you look at Nicola Taye, right? He's just taken what's about 2 years out of the game, come back for a low-key re-entrance in 7 Years' War, crushed that top board, made DBNI based off of that sole tournament that he played in, and then won his first chance game as well. Like, Nicola Taye is in incredible form and was an incredible player before he left. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm the most high-profile target, but in terms of, like, player form, there are definitely a couple of players. I mean, no won the World Championship last year, right? And hasn't played many tournaments since. So it's not like Gnome's in poor form. There are big names everywhere. It's the DBNI. Everyone has earned their place here. So I don't know. Maybe I get attacked early. Maybe I don't. But I don't think it will be solely because of who I am.
Okay, let's say you cannot win. Let's just say for whatever happens on the board, and we don't know the individual circumstances of the board, why you can't win or whatever, but just in a vacuum, without knowing who plays what, if you are not going to win, who do you think will win DBNI?
Probably Nicola. I think that he is. Last year, I talked a lot about how I thought I was playing better than ever. I was peaking going into DBNI, and Nicola really seems to be doing that as well. And so, yeah, probably Nicola.
All right. Michalis, best of luck to you this year. You're no longer the people's choice, but I'm sure most DBN viewers will be rooting for you. You provide so much service to the community, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, I've got Micah Blum here to talk about her DBNI Super 7. Although since she finished 19th in the DBNI semifinals and somehow got to be playing, I don't know. I mean, how do you feel? You must feel pretty good.
I mean, it was not the way I expected to make my DBNI debut. I'm really happy, though, that I was able to do that. And in the end, I mean, it's in the rules. They picked the person that was first seed. I fought really hard to get there and tried my best. So it's a weird way to get in like this, but I'll take it.
You should take it. Look, you've won top boards. You've now done so many things in diplomacy in just the last 2 years. Will you promise the viewers that if you win, that you will quit diplomacy for a year or two so other people can have a chance?
Absolutely not.
You're killing me. You stabbed me again. I thought this would be it. If you win, we get rid of you for a little bit.
I'll be your perfect ally at every game.
Okay. So what do you, I mean, legitimately, have people reached out to you? Are you a little worried about coming in? The rules allow for this. And look, you had the best year of 2025, so you've earned your right. But it is a little bizarre, right, that you weren't one of the announced ones and you're coming in as a sub. Does that affect your mindset at all as you go in here? Or are you just being like, it's all cool, I'm coming in like normal Micah?
Well, I think because it was so unexpected, I'm just happy to be there. Of course, it was really sad that someone had to drop out. But yeah, someone has to take it. Might as well be me. What was interesting that one of the players reached out to me and said, like, well, I expected the board to go in a certain way. Now, certainly you are here. What do you think about this and this alliance? And trying to figure out where my mind was at. I think because I'm now the 7th seed, I don't really need to think about things too much because I can't pick my phase anyways. So I'm just going to see what happens. I want to have a fun time, and we'll see where it goes.
Do you have any idea in mind about players you're probably not going to get your pick probably be picked for you unless someone moves below you.
Yeah.
Pretty unusual. I assume you think you'll be Germany, Austria, Turkey, but I don't know. But do you have an idea of players you can work especially well with, or are you keeping an open mind, or just walk me through your head?
Well, I think it's always good to keep an open mind. I've played with all the players on the board. I know I can work with all the players on the board. That's a super boring answer, but it is true. Of course, I do have my preferences, and I've thought about that a bit. I expect some of the people that I'd like to work with will be in the East. I expect to be in the East myself. I'd be surprised if I wasn't Turkey. So, I mean, I have been thinking a bit on how could I do things in that way and who could I work with well. I've got an idea on how I want to play my own game and who would be fitting to do that with. At the same time, I'm not trying to obsess too much over it and also just let it happen.
So I'll make an observation here. You don't have to agree with it, which is I've watched obviously all of your top boards and your success, the ones you've won and the ones you've lost. But I think this will be the most difficult. It's not like, no offense, Summer Classic. I mean, it's a well-deserved championship, but that's not DBNI. I mean, it's much more pressure, maybe a little cutthroat, maybe not. And it's sometimes hard. People find it hard to stay true to themselves and to play the kind of game that they think they have to play. Are you struggling with that at all?
Not really, because this is actually something I've been thinking about a lot. This game is way different than anything I've ever played before. Obviously, DBNI is one of the most prestigious tournaments that are out there. It's a 1916 game. We don't really do that in Europe. I've never played a 1916 game, and I wouldn't expect there to be a draw, because why would you draw? So it's going to be long, and that means I need to adapt my playstyle. I'm usually quite an aggressive tempo player, I think, and I need to be patient, and that's something I'm very aware of. So sort of my plan for this game was to play it very true to my own style, but to also adapt where needed, and to listen to my intuition a lot. I think in a lot of these top board style formats, I can be a bit too nice, or I can feel too empathetic towards people, or don't want to kill them because it's such an experience and you don't want to take that away from someone. But this is DBNI. I need to be cutthroat when necessary. And thinking about it like that in advance hopefully will help me apply that in the game. So yes, it is something I'm considering, but I wouldn't say it's a difficult thing necessarily.
Okay. I think most people who've either watched DBN or even just heard you talk can see your diplomacy strengths, your diplomatic strengths, why you're succeeding so much. You're just so likable, mainly.
Thank you.
But, you know, a lot of times David Hood will ask or assert people's diplomacy kryptonite or their biggest weakness. What do you think your biggest weakness is?
I'm thinking of a lot of weaknesses are popping up in my head. I don't think of one specific one. In general, I think I can be manipulated quite easily, and I'll feel bad for people, and I'll change what I do, even though I really need what I know what I should be doing. I know what makes sense, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to hurt someone. That's just something I gotta just get rid of. And I think strategy can be an issue for me. I see how to do things short term, but I don't have a whole game plan cut out as much as some other players do.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, this is a hypothetical question, one we don't know the answer to. But if you can't win, if it comes up just in the game to where you cannot win, and take the game out of it since it hasn't happened, who do you think will win? This is basically the best way of asking you, who do you think will the next best player is?
I don't think that's the question, because I think.
All right, who do you think will win? Who do you think will win, if not you?
I think Nikola has a good chance. He's a strong player. He's very likable. He has a way of somehow making the entire board work in favor of him. He's high enough that he can choose the place where he wants to be comfortable, and where he can do all his little tricks.
Have you played? You said you played with everybody. Have you played with him?
Yes, I have. Actually, I think it was for the 7 Years War top board.
Oh, that's right. You're on the top board.
Yes, and he played everyone and he won. So,
I guess this is a way of me just telling you to be yourself, which is everyone can overthink these things, but the easiest thing to do to mess these things up is to try and do something or be something you're not. And what you are by yourself right now is great, and just be yourself, and it'll either work out or it won't, and life will go on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm just looking forward to it. I want to have a fun time. I mean, either I win or I don't. I just want to have a fun time. That's it.
All right, Micah. Best of luck to you. Our best season of 2025 and Super 7 now for 2026 player. Congratulations on your great year, on your achievements, and I wish you the best during the game.
Thank you, Ed.